Rev up your engines! Well, finally, there's a price drop on new cars. People are actually paying less than your manufacturer's suggested retail price. I mean, with the interest rates high, they gotta start lowering them somewhat, but they haven't lowered them by all that much. The average price of a new car was still $48,275. So it's down from March, but it's only down $14. Okay, $14 out of almost $48,000 is negligible. It's not statistically significant. So these swines are still charging tons of money, right? Oh, look, it's $14 less than last month. $14 out of $48,500, right? That's a spit in the bucket. They're still greedy. My advice is wait to buy a car. Wait. With the interest rates high, they're going to eventually, crap is going to hit the fan, right? People are going to stop buying entirely when they can't afford the monthly payments, and the interest rates keep getting higher on used. I've seen people paying 20-something% interest on buying cars. Hey, they're going to have to start dropping their prices a lot more than this. At least it's going down. It's a good thing, right? They're paying less than MSRP. Before it was more. But $14 isn't much savings out of $48,500. Or 4035 says my 2007 Dodge is clunking at 40 miles an hour and it vibrates. 3.7 liter Dodge, 137,000 miles, 4-speed automatic. The transmission was rebuilt 2 years ago, so it wouldn't go in reverse. So we had it rebuilt. It shifts fine, but for the past couple of weeks, when you accelerate, you get to 40, 45, you hear a clunk and a vibration. It's like something engages and disengages. What do you think? Do you think it could be the torque converter? You'd want to pray it's a torque converter and not the transmission. If you can go back and look at the history of it, you had a guy do a full rebuild, right? The guy was an idiot. If he rebuilt your transmission and didn't also replace the torque converter, they work in conjunction with each other. And 130,000 miles on a Dodge, you better change the torque converter when you rebuilt the tranny because it's worn too, right? So if they didn't, I'd go back to the guy who did it and say, hey, you should have replaced the torque converter. I want a deal. Change it out now. I'll pay for the torque converter, but I don't want to pay the labor, right? But it could also be they didn't rebuild the transmission, right? You're saying it's clunking. If it clunks, more often than not, it's inside the transmission if it's clunking. The torque converters are shudder and stuff like that, but they normally don't clunk. Find a guy like me, good mechanic with a high-level scan tool. Let him road test it. He can check the torque converter. We have bidirectional controls to test it. We can look at the data, and we can see definitely the torque converter is going out. Then you'd have to pull the transmission off and replace the torque converter. But from my experience of those things, he probably did a crap job rebuilding the tranny. It's going out again. Because you said it didn't go in reverse, and now it's clunking. Well, before it didn't go in reverse. Maybe he said he rebuilt it, right? Maybe he just fixed the reverse gear and didn't really rebuild the whole thing, and now the rest of it falling apart. I see that all the time. Well, says I got a Toyota Prius and coolant is leaking through the exhaust system. We bought it used. What do you think it is? Well, I got bad news for you. The Toyota Priuses often will blow head gaskets. Now here's the problem. It's a Toyota Prius. Those have what are called Atkinson cycle engines. They got an electric motor, they got a gasoline motor. Gasoline motor is called an Atkinson cycle engine. Very few mechanics will work on those Atkinson cycle engine. They're a little bit different. Parts cost a lot. They're kind of a pain to work on. So most people won't work on them. I've seen Toyota dealers say they want $4,500 to replace a head gasket. Sounds outrageous. If nobody else works on it, they can charge whatever they want. So what you want to do is price around. See if you can find a mechanic who does engine work that either knows someone who does head gaskets on the Toyota Prius Atkinson cycle engines or does it themselves and see what they're going to charge. Hardly anybody works on those. Now, on the other hand, I had a guy with one. I put some of the engine leak sealer in it. It sealed the leaks, and it worked perfectly fine. Drove it around for years that way. You might try some Buyer's leak sealer. A lot of times it'll stop it on those little bitty engines. You never know. But to fix it correctly, it's going to cost you a small fortune because it is an Atkinson cycle engine. And when they do blow head gaskets, they have to be taken apart. Hardly anybody works on those things. Richie59 said, my brakes popped. Got an '09 Chevy Silverado. The brake pedal sank for a while, but now when I stopped, parked the car, I heard a pop. Then I heard a grinding noise. What do you think broke? I'm assuming that either bolts broke off on your caliper, and then when they break off, the caliper will hit the rotor, you hear a grinding sound, or you drove the pads down so far, they got so thin that eventually the piston in your caliper will pop out of its hole. It'll go pop, fluid will go all out, it'll sink to the floor, and you'll hear grinding noises because it's grinding against the rotor. So pull off the wheels. Pray that your problem is just you wore the brake pads down to nothing. You got to put it all back together with new parts. That's the cheaper of any possible fix, because it's also got anti-lock brake systems. The anti-lock brake system could go bonkers, pop and make a noise, but usually when you hear a pop and a grinding noise, go to the wheels and you'll see metal somewhere and you can see what's happened. Maybe just bolts came off and then the calipers came off and hit things, and you just have to fix that. Take it up, look at all the wheels, you'll probably find it real fast. Kenny K says, how do I identify a fuel leak? I got a 2020 Sienna. They say the GDI pump could be leaking, and the only way you can tell is you smell fuels in the engine compartment. It's not a recall. How can I tell? Well, they're telling you the truth about that. There's two pumps. There's a little pump in the gas tank, and that puts out low pressure. Then there's the GDI pump that's on the top of the engine. That's stainless steel. You can see it all shiny. There's a rubber plastic insulated part on it so you don't hear any noise. Pull that off, look under it, smell it, touch it, see if it's leaking. If it's not leaking, it's okay for now. But you would smell it because those GDI pumps put out, and they can put out thousands of PSI pressure. When they leak, believe me, you'll see it, you'll smell it. It'll be coming out. Now, if you're worried about it happening over time, here's an easy thing. You can get ultraviolet leak dye, and you can put it in the gas tank. You get the one that's made for gasoline. They make them for different things. Tranny oil, radiator fluid, and they're all different. Get the ultraviolet leak dye for gasoline. Then, if it ever did leak, all you'd have to do is go under the hood with a UV light, shine it on the pump, and if it's glowing green, you can see it's leaking and definitely needs to be replaced. The dye isn't going to lie. Let's say it comes, it goes, it comes, it goes. It doesn't matter if it doesn't smell now. It would have dye. There should be no reason for dye to be on the outside of that pump. If there is dye, after you put it in the gas tank, it means it's leaking. Well, don't drink and drive, and don't drink and drive and be stupid. A guy in Colorado was pulled over by police, and he quick switched seats with his dog. He put the dog behind the wheel, and then he sat in the passenger. The dog obviously was not driving the car because it all happened after the police had already pulled him over, and they had it all on film. Now he's going 52 in a 30 zone in Springfield, Colorado. Now, when the police came up to him sitting in the passenger seat, he said he wasn't driving. But then when they said, well, we're going to check you for alcohol, he ran away. Well, needless to say, being drunk, he didn't get far. 20 yards from the car, they grabbed him and they took him to jail. And I guess he was so drunk, they took him to the hospital before they took him to jail. But the dog was not charged, and he was given to the guy's acquaintance. Maybe the acquaintance should have been driving a vehicle and not letting his drunk friend drive a car with the dog in the front seat. That shows not only can you not drive, but you make bad decisions when you're drunk, thinking that, well, I'll just pretend the dog was driving the car. Yes, people do stupid things when they're drunk. Hey, if you want to drink, stay at home and watch TV or something, you know? Don't be driving around and think you're going to fool people. Well, Elon's at it again. He just released a video of his Tesla bots, right, trying to show how they're impressive, because if you remember, when he had them out live before, they looked like pieces of crap, and everybody said, what a pile of junk. People are holding them up. But if you check out the Tesla bot update, just type that in, you can watch the video. Anything can be done on video, right? I mean, if you watch the Terminators, right, it looked really good. Those robots could do all kinds of things in a Hollywood movie, right? This crap of people putting videos out of stuff is exactly that. It means absolutely nothing. It just looks good, right? Tightly edited video of the robots to set them all up and stuff. No, the truth was when he brought the robot before, it could hardly do anything. Let's have him bring him out in front of everybody like Honda did years ago with theirs, where it's climbing upstairs in the open. People are watching it, right? No, not some tightly set up video of his robots. And of course, what does Elon say? He says, the demand for my robots could be as high to 10 to 20 billion, right? I think the guy really did watch the Terminator too many times. Maybe he thinks he's Arnold and he's going to lead the robots. I don't know. But they got such a long way to go. He can't even make a car that drives itself without running into stuff. No way they're going to have this robot that's going to be serving us, right? I say, master, do you want a drink? Yeah, come on now. He's living in La La Land. Don't believe a lot of stuff you see in videos. Believe me, anything can be faked in a video. If somebody shows something, look how great this is. Yeah, because it's all been edited out. You can't believe the stuff that you see people showing you in videos. That's why I tell people when they say, oh, Scotty, would you like to try this product out? You know, we'll pay you money to talk about it. I say, I don't take money. Send me the product, I'll try it out. But I'm going to try it out in the real world. I don't care what your videos show. I'm going to try it in the real world. Does the charger work? Does this car last without breaking down? Does it really get this kind of gas mileage? I actually test them out right in the real world. I don't care what the videos say because you can fake anything in a video. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.